for 13 colonies before they became states in 1787, to show that from the 1630s to 1787, every law that appeared on the books of the colonies as it pertained to race had nothing to do with jurisprudence, nothing to do with legal precedents, nothing to even do with English common law. It had to do with custom, whatever the custom was. So for 150 years you had racism sewn into the legal fabric of 13 colonies. How could you help but have a racist document in 1787 when the Constitution is put together after 150 years of racism in all the colonies' legal structure? Now, Dr. Charles Long, my primary mentor in the history of religions, Charles Long argues that most of us sitting here, except for those of you who are bakers, don't understand what I just said in terms of its importance about the Constitution. And you get some eggs, and you take some milk, and you take some flour, and you take some butter, and you take some baking powder, and you stir it all up together. You preheat the oven, you put it in for the designated amount of time, ding, 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 you take it out, and you realize you forgot the sugar. You cannot sprinkle sugar on the top of that mess and call it cake, because the constituting elements determine that it will never be a cake. All you got to do is scrape that sugar off the top. We call them amendments to the Constitution. On July 17, 1862, Congress, asked the congressman behind me, passed the Second Confiscation Act, which was de jure the first Emancipation Proclamation and the most revolutionary act ever passed by the United States Congress. The Second Confiscation Act, which was signed into law 6 months before the signing of Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, number one, provided for the confiscation of the property of the rebels, number two, defined rebels as traitors, and number three, freed the slaves of all rebels. On July 25, 1862, Lincoln issued, as required by law, the official warning that the confiscation provisions would go into effect within 60 days. Then on September 22nd, 1862, one day before the effective date of that Revolutionary Confiscation Act, Lincoln signed the preliminary Emancipation Proclamation, which effectively postponed or nullified the emancipating and confiscating required under the Second Confiscation Act. The result was that Lincoln re-enslaved Africans freed by the Second Confiscation Act and promised to free slaves that he could not free. Please read Van Woodward and Bennett. Learn about Lincoln's use of and love, Sam, for the N-word. Lincoln's use and love for the minstrel shows and for darky jokes. But understand as you read that Lincoln was a product of his time, and his, quote, white man's world, the world in which he lived, and the worlds into which we were born are not that far apart.